So today we're talking about time management.
Time management.
Why'd you drill off like that? Okay. So time management definitely is something that's important within our personal lives, our professional lives. It just helps dictate how we go about, making choices.
Yeah.
And especially important when it comes down to parenting. So it helps you really understand balance of like things that you need to get done and then also the needs of your child. So time management is crucial for people to really understand. So today's episode will probably go over a couple examples of how we learn how to manage our time, and just over just different situations we run into as parents and how to maneuver through those.
Yeah, most definitely. We got a lot of things going on. I just felt like this is just a perfect time to actually talk about it since we're both fathers and like you said, a lot of people have their own personal lives and there are other ways that we can deal with these kinds of things, but we got birthdays, we got work, we got dates, we got a lot of things going on. So how are we going to plan out our actual lives? So like we said, there's going to be a couple things that we're going to say here. But first things first is that I would like to dedicate this episode to coffee, because coffee has got us a long way through all the hard times that we've been through.
That's you.
Okay.
I want our listeners to understand the stark differences between me and Zach.
I like to thank coffee, alcohol, and even the Seiko watch that my grandfather gave me, because without those, I would have not made it through this. So for that, we thank you so much. So with that being said,
sound like a shout out.
A shout out to all those things. So with that being said, of course, when it comes down to time management, some people have the tendency to procrastinate. So in this part, I would like to call this section the art of procrastination. And so is procrastination really an art form? You can argue that yes, it is, and maybe it's not. But regardless, I think
it's not.
Whatever, dude. I like to say
that's just your artsy brain trying to
just saying, like,
put
okay,
a spin on.
Because like, look, either you're good at procrastination or you are bad at procrastination, right? For those who are bad at it, like, okay, I am legitimately not going to do this thing, and right on the day of, I'm going to go ahead and just give you something, and hopefully I get something off of it, right? And there are some people who are actually like, okay, like, I'm going to go ahead and just, like, for me, I would just like, all right, for the first week, I'm just going to like stroll through life like as if everything is all right, and then I'm gonna like come up with something next week, and then like finally like it hits you out of nowhere. You're like, oh, I have a great idea. But I think that is not a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I think ultimately it just comes out you're just bad at planning. You could say you're good at procrastinating, but you're bad at planning.
Yeah. So we'll talk about planning later on through the episode. I bring this up because it's like I learned from that, like, you got to plan out your ideas. You got to plan out your day or your week or your month, however you want to go about doing that. Because like in the past, this is like, I would wait till last minute. I have a great idea. And then like, I have like 24 hours to do it. And I'll just like pull an all-nighter throughout the night as a college student.
Yeah, you're not getting the excellence out of your great idea.
Exactly. So you're
pulling something together.
Yeah. So it's just, but I mean, we still do it.
I mean, definitely, yeah. I'm not going to take any type of slight to that. Like,
I'm not saying I'm perfect, but
I procrastinate as well, but I'm not spinning it into an art.
No.
An art of procrastination.
Hey, I love art. Okay. I gotta talk about it some way, somehow.
Preparation is key.
Preparation is definitely key. I think, to kind of get rid of all that unnecessary stress in your life, like one thing to keep in mind is like, well, we all have phones, right? Use your phone to your advantage.
You're speaking from your privilege. We might not all have phones.
Okay, maybe, maybe you can, like, even if you don't have a phone, like, we can take it down all the way down to just, we have this thing called the 24-hour time schedule. Now, what that is like, look, there's only 24 hours in a day. So you can only accomplish so much.
Allegedly.
Unless you, but here's the thing. Like,
does your day stop when you go to sleep? Like,
no, your day never stops when you go to sleep. Like, it just keeps on going. And see, you over here trying to start a Anyway, so to make my point is that 24 hours, you have 8 hours to sleep. You have 8 hours of working. You have about maybe an hour from driving back and forth to your job. So you only have that amount of time. So you only have like 7 hours left to actually do stuff.
We're going to check your math after.
Hey, I'm an art teacher, not a mathematician, okay? But anyways, So anyways, like, yeah. So what are you gonna do within that span of 7 hours? I did the math, by the way. Try to chin check me. I see you.
I mean, we'll see.
8 plus 8 is 16 plus. Yeah. So that's 7 over here. Anyway, so, yeah. So you're like, what are we gonna do? Like you want to study? Do you want to go to the gym? You know, maybe for me, I want to make some artwork, you know, or maybe I want to catch up on my lesson plans, or I don't know, for you, you can like hit the...
I mean, my schedule completely varies day by day, but it is planned out to a certain degree. And I'm not even a major planner, but I do keep myself fairly occupied. But I think ultimately when it comes down to like this 24-hour time schedule, is really understanding the capacity of what you can do within those 24 hours. So one of the things I learned through Alpha or just through Greek life is kind of maximizing that time. I take it to a whole nother extreme. To me, I'm in a strong belief that like I'm in my 20s, so this is my time to really push myself. So I try to make 28 out of 24.
Okay.
So I double up on tasks.
Like that.
Just to make sure.
So like multitasking kind of?
To a certain degree. I mean, multitasking is something, if we really get into it, it's an idea, not really like a proven concept. When you're multitasking, you're not giving 100% to something.
True.
But if you're willing to accept that, then yes, it is. I do try to multitask. I don't necessarily give all my tasks 100%. So I try my best to juggle it. But to me, as long as I'm working on something, I'm progressing it in some form or fashion. So I will try to progress multiple things at the same time. But I'm always keeping myself fairly busy. I don't take too much time to rest. I want to see what I can do. I'm only gonna get older. I can get a little bit wiser, but I don't know if I'm gonna get this youth back. So
I mean, we can argue that, like, I mean, you're not gonna get it younger.
Not gonna get any
but
younger.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, you know, work hard, play hard, kind of thing. Like, I like that what you said about making 28 out of 24. That's pretty nice. You know, now we can argue that multitasking can either be just...
Sometimes it's inefficient if you don't do it correctly.
Yeah. But I mean, but for me, like when I'm making like a series of pieces, of course I'm not like I'm painting here and painting here at the same time. And I'm like trying to come with another idea for the third piece. And, you know, like I'm not like one painting on the left hand and another painting on the right hand. And, you know, so I get what you're saying, you know, so I think it's best to like keep everything like just one task at a time. Give yourself like a timeline, like, okay, we know that this is going to be, we have to get this done in 2 weeks. So I try to set a deadline for myself, like, all right, I got to get this done by the end of this week, you know, and try to keep it like that. So especially for like work, you know, like I am a teacher, you know, I'm also a freelance artist, you know, I host this podcast for you guys on Stay DADicated. And so, you know, you kind of have to manage like, you know, like as a teacher, it's like you got to figure out, like, okay, like these kids, we have to give them a deadline as far as like this field trip is concerned. We know this field trip is a month from now, and we have to give them time to actually get the signatures from their parents, get the medical authorization form, and get that thing notarized by this certain time. We also have to collect all these chaperones and all these other kinds of, you know, so all the logistics and everything. Like,
well,
you kind of
planning is pretty much embedded into your profession. Like, y'all have lesson planning, and y'all have like planning periods. If I'm correct on that.
But laziness is what can get you to that
procrastination.
To procrastination.
Yes.
You know, so you can't just be like, all right, I've been through the realms before. I've done this plenty of times, because for one, from my own experience, I said, you know what? I did plan a field trip last year, and I was at a high school, by the way. And, you know, if I could do it at a high school, I could definitely do it at my school.
All right.
Not a big deal.
Weird flex again.
Hey, I'm weird. Don't judge me. So it's just that to tie this whole thing all together, it's just like, you know, just don't be lazy and just plan that whole thing out, or you'll end up in that gutter of like procrastination.
Wise words. Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy.
I mean, not to be super cliche, but I mean,
make 28 out of 24. See how, look at us.
Not everybody can do that. So
not everybody can, but at least that should be your goal. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I like the 24-hour time schedule type thing. Like like I said, not everybody can do the 28 out of 24. That does take some extreme discipline to really push yourself. But I really just want everyone to understand 24 hours. Like, we're all given the same 24 hours. Understand what you can do within that time. So you kind of broke down like a typical work, sleep, recreation schedule. But like, how you want to divvy up your day is completely up to you.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about time management, that's something you have to keep in consideration. Like, not necessarily saying, oh, I can't do this, or like, I don't know where that time is coming from. We all have the same 24 hours. So when we start talking about things, how we went about things, understand we're doing the same thing within the same time that y'all have as well. So I don't believe it's too much of an unreal expectation, but you do got to meet people where they are in life. It might not be the season for that, for them to really understand and be able to maximize their time. But I mean, when it comes down to time management, when do you feel like you really got a good handle on it? Do you feel like it was kind of like a high school thing or college, or when you started getting into the workforce?
I could say probably like right at the end of college, or right between the end of college, or right when I graduated, and right when I was in the middle of the workforce. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but I do know that, like, you know, especially like when I was planning like birthdays or like some type of events that's going on, like I had to make sure that was put together. But I think like that was the best time when I actually had to coordinate my certain ideas or planning things out, was during that time frame. It was like right at graduation and then starting the workforce, because, you know, bosses are on your case about everything.
Yeah.
You know, and they're always like, you know, why isn't this paperwork done? Or, you know, this needs to be done by this time, so make sure you get it done. So I need you to be here on Saturday.
That's a no for me, dog.
I need you to be here on Saturday so we can get this paperwork like pushed through on Sunday. What? So.
Well, I mean, okay. I would say for me, high school was really, really structured for me. So my parents, being both military, like they really kept a time schedule down for us. So it wasn't really too much leniency. So a structure and a time management has always been kind of harped into me. I will say during college is when the opportunity of freedom does arise. Yeah. So no, I didn't necessarily stick to it. Yeah. But it's always been like in the back of my mind of just like, all right, time is everything. It's a resource that you never get back. So you have to be constantly cognizant of it. I always remember in college, like people would always notice, like I always have like a watch on. Like to me, it's mind blowing for people to walk around without a watch or without knowing what time it is. Yeah. Like, how are you functioning? Your phone, though. I mean, to a certain degree, not everyone's using their phone for like the time.
Got it.
Like I can literally, I'm pretty sure when you go to work and you just ask somebody like, what time is it? Like they don't know kind of general off the top of their head.
Was it like a digital watch, or was this like a old school analog?
I know how to read time.
I know. I'm saying, like
I've had multiple watches in my time.
Okay. No, I mean, I for one did not have that luxury of having a watch when I was coming up, especially in high school. I would just get those. I mean, probably like right at my senior year, I was getting those geeky watches. I was not G-Shocks, but just like your typical knockoffs G-Shocks. I mean,
a watch is a watch. A watch is a time.
But still, though, it's just like,
bring it back. I can go back to Burger King watches.
Oh, you want to bring it back to Burger King watches? That's always just been something that's been embedded with me. For that Adventure Time watch, but don't tell nobody. I think. No, I mean, yeah. So I never wore a watch until probably about when I got to college, honestly.
Yeah. It's fitting. That's where a lot of people really, they start to learn more about themselves, and you start to realize that, I mean, when it comes to that freedom, like you have to start making choices about how you want to manage your time. Yeah. So I just want to kind of dig into that. So to help other people just understanding, like you learn time management in different aspects of your life. Right. Everyone's a little bit different, but ultimately, in order for us to really thrive in our parenting, which we need to start just getting into, we have to understand a certain level of time management. Right. And for me, it's as simple as just having a watch and knowing what time it is, so I can know how my schedule is going to flow. Yeah. For other people, it might be the calendar or using their phone.
No, for me, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but for me, it's just like being that, you know, I'm constantly active with my daughter, And Amelia's mom is just, I'm constantly thinking about what am I going to be doing this week? Like I'm thinking on a weekly basis. This is not written. I don't write this down anywhere. It's just like when people tell me that, hey, this is going to be going on this week on this date, and I'm like, all right, cool. I have it mentally like put into my mind.
It's a mental note.
It's a mental note kind of thing. Like, I'm like, all right.
Sounds dangerous.
It is. It can be. Sometimes when you have multiple things being shot at you all at once, you're like, what are we doing? Like I thought we were doing this. So, but I've gotten pretty good at it, but there were times where I was just like, when people would ask me like, oh, I thought we were meeting up. Like, so today I was supposed to go to a housewarming party. Mm-hmm. And like, the guy hit me up. He's like, hey, my housewarming party is like this weekend. I was like, oh, I thought that was next weekend. He's like, oh no, dog. It's definitely this weekend. I'm like, oh, yeah.
So are we showing a good example of time management here?
Procrastination.
Yeah.
No. I'm just kidding. No, it was just the mental note was put in the wrong place in my brain. But
What?
No excuses. But anyways, regardless of the fact, in other cases, I keep a mental note of like I know like I'm gonna be doing this on Monday. On Tuesday I'm gonna be hanging out with Amelia's mom, and on Wednesday I'm gonna be doing something. So it's just like I know like what I'm doing this particular week. If someone asks me next week like what are you doing, then I'll be like, get back to me at the end of the week, and then we'll figure something out because I don't know. But in most cases, I would either just like jot it down in my Google Keep, or I would just write it down in my calendar on my phone and just keep on trucking. Honestly, so
I mean, I'm fairly similar, but I mean, I will say as a parent, and like for me, from my single father side of just going through the court, so like I have a court order, so I know how my time is allocated.
Yeah.
So I have a set schedule. So that's already been embedded into my lifestyle. But there was a point where I had to like essentially put it into a calendar. Like, hey, these are the weekends that you're going to have your daughter. These are the days. These are the holidays. It's on an alternating schedule. So I did have to take that notion to really put it down into a calendar. I'm not really a pencil and paper type person. I do like digital. So I use Google Calendar for everything. But yes, I had to take the initiative to say, hey, I don't want to forget these dates. I don't want to have any type of miscommunication. So I had to take that proactive measure, say, hey, this is in my calendar. I get reminders. I know what's going on. Yeah. So that's one of the things when it does come down to managing our time with our kids, if anyone who has to go through a similar situation. If you have a court document, put those dates inside somewhere. Hold yourself accountable to that, because what you don't want is to miss those opportunities because you failed to prepare.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but I mean that also branches into my work life. Pretty sure everyone at work has some type of work calendar. So the things that you do at work in a professional environment also should somewhat bridge into your personal. So if you have a calendar at work and they hold you accountable to that calendar, bring that still the same skill set into your personal life. So I used to do a little bit more kind of what you were doing, just very ad hoc, like, all right, I know what's going on type thing, until I realized I'm getting hit with multiple things.
Yeah.
When you agree to two things that are similar times, or you don't allow yourself to have too much of a window in between two events. Like, yeah, you know what event you need to do for that day or what you need to get done that day, but have you really taken the time to plan it out?
Yeah.
So that's just, for me, it's just using the calendar as a backup support really is beneficial when it comes down to manage my time, because it makes it easier for me to tell people no.
Yeah.
Like, hey, no, I can't. My schedule's literally booked for this week. I'm booked for next week too. So like,
that's one
let's
thing
work on something.
Yeah, that's definitely something I need to work on for sure, because I have this tendency to say yes to a lot of things. And for oddly enough, one of my kids or one of my students told me that during that field trip that I mentioned in the intro, I was like, one of the parents said to my student that I don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And that's simply because I just want my kids to have the opportunity that everybody else can, have the same opportunity like everybody else on this field trip. But I think the point that she was just trying to say was that saying no can actually, can actually build you up as like it doesn't bring any stress to you, and then it just kind of builds you up as like, oh, he's actually taking initiative. Like, oh no, he's not a yes man. He's just like, he knows what he wants. He's saying like no to this and he's saying yes to that, but he's being particular and he's being thoughtful about what he wants. So so same case as far as time management is concerned, like keep it on the level of like, no, I'm sorry, I can't make it to that event because I have other prior engagements to attend to. Like I got to be with my daughter. Or
no doesn't always have to have a negative connotation.
Yeah.
I do definitely agree. No, when presented correctly, does show that, hey, I have forethought into this. Like it's not a at the whim decision. It's like, no, because I've already have allocated my time to doing something. So, which comes vital when it comes down to parenting. Like I said, from speaking from my single parent roles, like we get presented with a lot of opportunities that possibly overlap our time with our kids. So, I mean, you're coming up on spring break, not necessarily as strong, but like you do have a decision. Hey, do I want to do I want to send my child to camp, which frees me up to do other things, or do I want to spend this time? But you kind of have to plan for that to understand if something comes up next week, like, no, I'm spending time with Amelia this week. So no, I can't do that. Or I've already made a decision. Hey, I'm sending Amelia to camp Monday and Tuesday. So, hey, I am free Monday and Tuesday, but the rest of the week I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But that forethought is very important because our kids value our time.
Yeah. That's the most important part right there.
It is. But I mean, you also have to value your own time as well. So creating that balance takes some time. Like you might have to continue your lesson planning that you do at work. And I need to plan out the rest of my week or the rest of my month to understand when I have Amelia for this weekend, all right, what are we going to do through this time? Like what I want Amelia to gain from this, or what do I want to gain from this? Or, hey, I have a little bit of time that's unallocated. I need to block that off for myself. I've had to literally do that with my calendar. Like, all right, there's a block on here, so I can't add you on here.
Yeah.
But it's really just my time.
Yeah.
But you got to remind yourself, because now you're going to give all your time away.
Exactly. And then who's the one who gets affected? Is your kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yourself and
yourself too. So it's just, but like the most important person is your child. So, but I like how you said, you're blocking out time, because I have some friends who do that too. Like for instance, my best friend, he's also a teacher too. He would, like in the past, he would say, you know what? I'm not going to, on Saturdays is a time where I spend time with my lady, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And we would hit him like, hey, we got this party going on, or we're getting the crew together and we're going to like hang out at this spot. It's like, oh no, man, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm gonna be with my woman and her people. And I'm like, okay, we respect that.
Yeah, you got to respect it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, going back to square one is just, learning how to say no and blocking out that time. It's definitely great, so I definitely need to work on that more often. I've been working on it, which is great. So I would recently I just told for that housewarming party, I was like, I can't make it because, well, honestly, we did not find a babysitter, but the truth is planning. But the truth is that I wanted to be with my daughter, and Amelia's mom. So that's the honest truth. But and quite frankly, it's just I didn't really want to be at that place anyways, because I just wanted to I felt like I was going to be cornered. Like, oh, who's this?
Okay. I mean, hopefully that person is a supporting listener.
I appreciate your support, by the way.
And they understand.
Yeah.
But we can dig deep into that a little bit. Just like, okay, so how do we deal with encounters when it comes down to dating? As far as like, all right, you essentially want to you're planning a date night.
Right.
How do you go about that when you have your child involved?
Well, I think, two ways you can do it. Either A, you can take the child on the date, but let's not think about it like that. No,
I mean, that's a possibility.
That's a possibility. Like if the babysitter don't show up, like, well, it's going to be date night at the house. Like we're going to have, I'm going to cook something for you, or I'm just going to buy like some Talente ice cream, and we're just going to just watch some movies. Like a movie night, like make it a blockbuster night. Bring back blockbuster.
Oh, that's old.
Hey, quiet. Netflix and chill. That's what we're going to do. All right.
Netflix and chill with your daughter?
No. No. Netflix and chill with my lady. So it's just, no, she's going to be like, Amelia is just going to be in the room by herself,
Wow.
knocked out.
Knock knock from CPS.
No, like, like, I think for me it's just like, she can be with us, we'll watch a movie together, and when she passes out, I'm like, all right, cool, now we can definitely do what we've been wanting to do this whole night. Okay.
Wow.
Catch up on this episode on Netflix that we've been trying to catch up on that our daughter could not watch. That is a true.
No, it's real. I mean, that's in some form or fashion of planning it out.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Yeah.
That, hey, yes, I want us to have a date night, but I mean, we both know, our child wants to spend time with us. So
yeah,
let's make sure our child gets the appropriate time. But after they go to sleep, then yes, our date night can begin. So that is a conversation that you have to have even with your significant other, or in my aspect, when you are actively dating. So one thing for me is I strongly coordinate my schedule that I'm not going on any type of social or dating type of activity when I do have my allocated time with my daughter. So like I said, I know my schedule, so I can operate on the opposite of it. But you have to be upfront with that. We've talked about dating in the past, but like, hey, on first, third, and fifth Wednesdays, like, we're probably not going out unless it's like a daytime event and something that is more family centric.
Yeah.
But for situations like yours, when you do have to, when you can blend those situations together, I think it's very important to have those times where, like, all right, we can wait and we can do it after, but also let's find these activities that we can all do together.
Yeah.
But that planning has to come together, or else it's going to be super spontaneous every single time. And that might not work well with your significant other.
Yeah.
They might feel slighted depending on, where y'all are in your relationship. Mm-hmm. I've had that happen too, where it's like, hey, in my younger days per se, it's like, hey, once Alexi goes to sleep, I can have somebody, I can call a babysitter to chaperone over her. Then we can do something. Hey, Alexi doesn't want to go to sleep though. Mm-hmm. So sorry, we got to cancel at this point. And I just learned how to maneuver against doing that. The best decision I would just come up with, like, is where I'm at right now. The resolve that I have, just don't do it. Just don't intermingle that time.
Yeah.
Until you find someone who can do it.
Separation of church and state.
Yeah, definitely keeping the separation until you find someone who you feel like would be able to manage that time effectively.
Yeah.
Because until you're in a solidified relationship or something to a higher degree, you have to understand, when I'm with my daughter, like, my time with her is more important than anything else.
Which goes back to what you were saying, multitasking. Mm-hmm. Like, you're trying to have time with your daughter, and then you're also trying to have time with this lady, and you're trying to, so you're not giving your full 100%. So then you're kind of, scrutinizing the time with your kid because you're on this. Yes, I understand what you're. So I think, with that being said, like, and even if you do happen to find that lucky babysitter that will take care of your kid, like, at least just really plan that whole thing out. Like,
you gotta communicate. You can't. The more ad hoc you get, the more spontaneous you get, you kind of abuse that grace, and you never want to be put in a situation like that.
Yeah. But girls can tell. They can. They can, like. I mean, we'll talk about dating on another episode, but I'm just saying that. Oh,
you said girls? You saying all babysitters are girls?
No. I'm saying, like, whenever you take a girl or whoever your significant other is out, you want to just make sure that you actually plan that whole thing out. I'm not saying all babysitters are girls. Okay, yeah. I'm just
on the sexist tip.
Trying to be sexist. Anyways, so guys, if you, I think, like, if you really want to impress this girl, like, yes, definitely, and I know I'm repeating myself, like, definitely allocate that time to just, like, all right, I'm gonna take her to this restaurant. I don't know, like, ask her a couple questions like, what do you like? What do you not like? Like, dress fancy, keep it casual, that kind of stuff. So girls just want to have fun.
And then, just real briefly, like I said, I haven't really done it too much as of late, but in my younger years, if you ultimately do come down to situations where, there's an event, maybe you bought tickets for something in advance and you're not really up on your calendar, and it happens to fall on a weekend or a day that you do have your child. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I started to do is implement kind of not really like a replacement, but essentially having that conversation with a child and doing like a date night specifically for them. So whether it's pre or after, so like I said, from the single father side, you only have a certain amount of allocated time. So it's like, hey, I know we're supposed to hang out this weekend. I have an event, Saturday night. You might have to spend the night with grandparents, but hey, Sunday is like, it's all your day. Like, we're going to go do what you want to do. This is your allocated date night. So the same amount of time and energy that I put into this other event, I don't want you to feel slighted. I'm going to make up that time because that time is very crucial. But if you don't have that mindset towards it, then your child can also look at it as like, all right, I just lost time and you have no intent of making it up to me.
Yeah.
So just a little tidbit when it comes down to it. Ultimately, you got to learn how to maneuver and understand your child to be able to figure out how you can allocate your time to where they still feel appreciated and you can still also get the things that you need to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also another thing that she should really take into consideration. Well, for me, I would say like having some quality time to yourself. I know that's kind of way down there, but I would say that yes, being as it may, like we have all these things that we need to manage. We have everything that, we have work, kids, baby mama stuff, all that other kind. I'm not saying that they're baby mamas, but like, the mothers of
that's what you just called them, Zach. Apologize.
My bad, guys. You guys are the greatest mothers out there. What am I saying on here? Anyways, let me get back on track. About ourselves, okay? We need to spend some quality time for ourselves. In other words, like, hey, if you need to build a man cave in your house, go and do it. Like, of course, ask your wife permission if you need to, but if you don't have a wife, then just your apartment's right there or your place, so have your little bachelor pad. I like to, I remember whenever I was living in Tyler one time, I had my own apartment and I love the fact that like when I came home, it's like I'm escaping from all this reality. I'm escaping from all the drama that's going on. And I just want to go ahead and just like pop in a movie or, drink a little bit or play some video games or something like that, and just have a good time or just go out into town and just like, I would like go and watch movies by myself, like with nobody, like I like that. Like
it's always been weird to me.
Why? Because
just getting on the. I'm terrible at quality time for myself and for rest. So even though I said before, like I allocate time for it, yes, it's allocated for it, but what I actually do with it has always been something I struggle with. So if I'm not just dead tired and I just pass out through that time. Most of the time, if I'm up, it's my time. So I've said no to other things, but it allows me to choose what I want to do. And sometimes I choose to go just do more things. So even if it's just going to hang out with people, instead of resting per se, or if it's me being proactive and like planning something out, that's sometimes what I get myself caught into. Or serving is a real big one for me. If most of the time I'm free, I block out like morning time. So, but if I do have some additional morning time, it's like, all right, well, I can go pick up trash. I can do a trash pickup. I can go feed the homeless.
So that's more of like your quality time, like just helping others is just outside of the realm of like your typical routine of going to work or doing whatever you usually do during the day. I like that. Yeah,
but I mean, it's something I have to be honest about it. Like, it's not as it's beneficial for like my spirit to just know that I have a spirit of serving, so I like to continue to do that. But I mean, also on your body, it can be taxing. But I mean, I've already expressed like I'm on this whole mentality, like I'm in my 20s, like I can push myself. 30s, I can start to slow down. In the 40s, I should be able to reap the benefits. But right now, I can get up a little bit earlier and go serve instead of sleeping in sometimes. But that's really just me. Like I push myself. Super hard.
And that's we appreciate that. Stay dedicated. But I think I like for me, I just want to relax. From all this,
which is good.
Which is great. Like it's
within boundaries.
Within boundaries. Yes, of course. Don't go to the far side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you can't just be like, hey, Lexi, I don't want to do anything today because I didn't get enough me time this week. So,
we're gonna have to reschedule our time.
Yeah, you can watch me have me time.
Go in that corner and go play with your toys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, how about you go have you time and I'm gonna have me time?
Can we do that though? No, just kidding.
Within measure, like
Within measure,
I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I've never done it before. I've never been so exhausted that hey, sometimes I just need to recuperate. And Lexi's kind of just like, all right, well, I see that you're tired. Go get your rest.
Like I know that there's some introverts that are just like they need their time to like charge up. Like like they actually just sit down. Like as a matter of fact, like one of my friends, they're also a teacher. Ironically enough,
all these teacher friends.
I mean, I'm in the education
step out,
field.
Man.
I do step out. Not that much though. Not in the bad. Not now. But anyway, so what they do, they're an introvert, and so they go home, and on Sundays, like they don't answer their phones, they don't do anything. They're at home, and they're just like they call it a recharge moment, you know,
or a Sabbath,
or a
Sabbath,
works, or they just, or sometimes they don't even like they show up to events, but they're not. They're just like they're physically there, but their mind is like somewhere else, or and
you are so artsy.
I'm just saying, I'm just like, this is what they told me. I'm just relaying the message to everybody else out there. That's all. But I think like since we're more like extroverts, we just like to be out there, and that's what makes us happy. We like to spend our quality time either just like playing video games or actually helping out the poor.
Oh, helping out the poor. I'm an introverted extrovert, so I like to be behind the scenes, but I do like to. I have a leadership spirit, so I do like to lead things and make sure things get done accordingly.
Yes, and that is Justin trying to sell himself to all the females out there.
I don't have to sell. I'm booked and busy.
I'm just messing. You know what also things. I'm pondering on like, whenever we first start this podcast, we also had to plan that stuff out too. Like, just imagine, and I like for all of those who are listening, we're just going down memory lane on how we start this whole thing, because it really is like we're two fathers. We're both working our tails off at work. We are constantly like we're dealing with every single thing from every single angle. And we were saying like we need to make this podcast. Like I feel like this right here, what I'm doing right now is the best quality time for myself, because I can go watch a movie. Yes, I can take a nap. Yes, I can play video games and everything like that. But I feel like, is that being very productive in some form or fashion?
Okay, I can see that.
Yes or no? I mean, nothing wrong with like helping out the poor or like serving to others, or like.
It's not just the poor. I help out everybody.
I know you do. I know, but I'm just really like boosting you right now.
Shout out to the poor, I guess.
Shout out to the poor. Weird flex, but anyway, so. Like we are stay dedicated. I know that from the very beginning we were like we wanted this thing to be amazing, despite the fact that we are hardworking fathers. We need to come together on a certain day to record this, and when we have mishaps where we can't record things, or whenever
all the mishaps.
Oh Lord, all the stories I can tell you guys right now, but we only have a limited amount of time. One thing's for sure is that there are some cases where Audition says, you know what, forget your whole episode, we're just gonna go and delete every single thing and hard work that you did. So so in this part, like I like to say, the history of the hard work that we had to go through, like we had to despite the fact that yes, we are very small and we only have on average like 10, 15 listeners per episode, we're growing. I'm not trying to downplay ourselves, but I'm just stating facts, like I'm just being honest. But just the whole idea of just planning out a podcast and trying to get the equipment and budget and like how are we going to execute this episode all together. Like,
it's interesting that you place that into like kind of how you plan for your quality time.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see it sometimes as quality time, as far as like, this is something I'm doing that is slightly therapeutic, or just, all right, it's cathartic for us to talk things out and to see it as a resource. I see it mainly as an investment. So I sacrifice some time that it could be allocated to myself,
Right.
for me just to have rest, or allocated to other things, including my daughter. I could find ways to find more time to either plan something out for her in advance, or to actually get that actual time with her. But I do set aside this time to invest into something that we both, like you said, came together and said, hey, we feel like this is a need, and this is a benefit and a resource for people. So I'm setting aside time that we can put stuff on record for it to be timeless and to really affect, future generations and current generations, and also our children included. So Alexia is older, so I can have those conversations with her, like, hey, I need to go record this week, or I need to sit down and do some planning for Stay Dedicated. So ultimately, when the product is released, you can reap some of the benefits of this. Where we plan to go with Stay Dedicated, I want it to be beneficial to myself and also to Alexia. So but I mean, it comes down to sacrifice and managing my time. I can't let this overrun my schedule. I still have other things to do, but I also have to assign some time to it that sometimes might take away from my time with my daughter.
Yeah, or other things like that are more important and valuable. I definitely agree with you. Like, I'm glad that you said that this is more of an investment versus being more of a burden. Because some people, they just make something just to make stuff. But we're making something for the purpose of actually helping others. Essentially, that's what podcast is supposed to be. So that's what we're trying to do. But we want to take it a step further by addressing the issue and being who we are. And yes, it does take away time where I could be spending time with my daughter right now as we speak. But instead, I decided to just say, you know what? I want to get together with Justin. We're going to promote this thing. And hopefully in the future, like when we have a lot of people, we have a lot of subscribers, and we have a whole lot of whatever, right? I can always look back and be like, look, we made this happen together. It took a whole lot of hard work, and it took a whole lot of time and like sleepless nights to make this happen. But at the end of the day, people understand, like, from a father's perspective on how, how we can get through certain things, and
do it for y'all.
So we manage our time for you because we love you guys. Okay.
So, I mean, we talked about a lot of different things that we do essentially in lieu or outside of our time with our children, but let's talk about some of the things that we do and how we manage our time with our kids. So, like, when we are spending that devoted time with them, what are some things that you and Amelia like to do?
One thing I really love to do, and I mentioned this in other episodes, is that I like taking her to, like, the park, or I like taking her specifically to either Galleria Mall that has no changing tables still to this day. But I just like doing that. And then I love bumping music, by recent artists that I just have. And I love it. Like, as a matter of fact, it really makes me feel so good whenever, like, we listen to this song and she's really feeling it. And
Talking
then
about Baby Shark?
No, that too. But no, like,
Baby Shark ring off.
Baby Shark is fire, man. But besides singing Baby Shark to the top of our lungs, we like to sing other songs. And, when I introduce her to something, it's like she's singing it too. And I'm like, yes, I brought her in. Like, she's
Tatiana?
Huh?
Tatiana?
No.
That's not the jam?
That's not the jam yet. Wait, what's that one?
You have to do your research on that one.
Oh, dear God, guys. What did I get myself into? So, but other than that, like, I do want to take her to some other places, or I do want to, like take her, like, for one, like, birthday parties, like, I would take her to, like, we took her to, what's that one spot? Urban Air.
Yeah.
Urban Air.
Urban area.
Yeah.
Trampoline park.
Trampoline park.
Couple locations out here.
Yeah, out here in Texas. But yeah, it's just I just love seeing her having fun. So of course I try to make as much fun as I can. But other than that, what about you?
So I mean, it's very interesting. So my life outside of Alexia is very structured and very planned out.
Is it because of the court mandated thing, or is it just
No. This is more my personality. Like I like to keep myself busy. So every day I have a list of things that I already know I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my time with Alexia, I have done it more structured before. Like, hey, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like this is kind of our agenda. And it has pros and cons. It does become more so schedule oriented that it kind of takes away from the sporadicness of it. And didn't really go over well with her. Just understanding like, hey, it's Friday, so we're going to watch a movie again. All right, well, what if I don't necessarily want to watch a movie or I'm not feeling it? So that's kind of one of the things I just grew. I expanded my mindset on as your child begins to grow. A structure, as far as like structured plans, don't always go over well.
Yeah.
So sometimes like I would pick her up on a Friday and she would be like, I'm tired. Like I don't necessarily want to do this. And in my mind, like, all right, we said we were going to do this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, why would we not? So you have to learn how to be flexible with your time. Yeah. Spontaneity is cool too. As she's gotten older, spontaneity is hit or miss.
Okay.
I'm dealing with a preteen essentially. So I can say, hey, let's go do this. And she's like, nah, like I don't want to do that at all.
This whole day.
Yeah.
Or a whole weekend for us. And you're saying no?
Basically. So that happens too.
Check out child discipline, please.
But I mean, it does come down to having a plan, which I don't necessarily always have when it comes down to our time. It is a lot of conversations. So I do appreciate that aspect of her. She's not necessarily event focused. Like, hey, I want to go do something or I want to go to a specific place. A lot of the time it is like, hey, I've had a busy week. Even at 10 years old, like that's
you
enough.
had a busy week.
I mean, I have learned to accept
Tell me
that.
how busy was your week?
And that's what we get into. It's like, all right, so what happened?
Okay,
like let's talk about it, and that comes into deeper conversations. But I also have to back that off with like, hey, let's go to someplace like Urban Air, or let's go to the park, or hey, let's try to see if we can get you into an extracurricular activity on the weekend to get you to implement some type of schedule, because I've gone through the ebbs and flows of a tight schedule and then also a very loose one where it's like, all right, we just wake up and we're chilling. And you got to switch it up. Can't have them get too comfortable with it because they're ever changing. Their personality's changing. They're developing.
Yeah. And
you want to show them that there's options. So within my time with Alexia, I would say it's been an up and down journey.
Really?
Especially from people who are dealing with the joint custody. You get your child back on the weekend or in the middle of the week type thing. You might have a different child than you had last week. So your schedule don't necessarily fly.
That's weird.
It's different.
Well, I mean, but that's all part of growing up, so I get that part. But
I mean, yeah.
But then you have a court mandated ordeal, and you gotta, oh man.
It happens. I mean, like I said, this is why we have to talk about it.
How do you get through all that? Like, I'm just saying, like, we're talking about time management. And then you have a hindrance that's put in place, the court mandate that's just put in place, and you're like, I want to do this stuff. So how do you keep this more of a consistent basis? Because like even like with this court mandate, like that's put in place, like how do you regulate all this? Because I know you're a very active father. I'm just trying to get more.
Well, I mean, with the custody agreement. Once you embrace it for what it is, you realize what your timeline is, and you have to work within it. My situation happens to be one where I'm not necessarily in a predicament where I can always expand on my time. Some people do have their freedom where, hey, no, you're involved in your child's life, and your child's mother is like, hey, I appreciate that, and I want you to do more. Or you have the freedom to do more. So those type of situations where when it comes down to time management, that's your time to flourish. If your child's mother is allowing you to have more time with your child to build that relationship,
Just take advantage of all
that's
that.
when you got to. But you have to be constructive with it. Like you can't just say, "Hey, oh, it's a Tuesday. I just want to come pick up my child." That'll fly once or twice. But
Yeah.
if you're really intentional, saying, "Hey, no, I'm blocking out my Tuesdays now to spend time with my child, and this is kind of what we're gonna do," or just like, "Hey, I'm just making sure that I'm giving him or her that time," then that's something that'll definitely stick with your child in the long run. But for people like myself who don't necessarily have that freedom, the weekends and the time throughout the week that we're allocated, that's what we have to deal with. And we have to maximize that time. So that means I have to be more fluid than her mother per se.
Yeah.
Her mother can say, "Hey, well, this is what we're gonna do Monday through Friday," and like that's that. I only have Friday through Saturday. So hey, we got to talk about some things, and I got to understand what you truly want to do, and balance that out with what I need you to do too. So it is a pretty heavy ebb and flow. But as your child begins to get older and gets a better understanding of it, you start to understand how you can push and pull with it. But yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, I can pick up Lexi one week and then get a different Alexia the next week.
That's weird. Okay. I mean, what? I understand.
But yeah, you just as a father, you understand that your child is yours. We've all been 10, so
I have been 10. Yes.
You'll start to see it with Amelia. You'll just have a better cadence. So instead of Friday to Friday, it's Monday to Tuesday. Okay, something's different.
Yeah.
But I mean, you learn how to adjust.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about? Well, I mean, you haven't thought about it, but I've thought about it. Spending time with Amelia's mom. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
or the child's mom. Like, I mean, I know, like, because of your situation, that's not really an option. But for me, it's just, like, I mean, I don't want to go into that state. Like, to me, I don't want to be in that situation where I'm court mandated and I have to spend time. And I'm sorry that happened to you. And I know that was a long time ago. And I can't.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
No reason
but I'm
to
just
be sorry at this point.
Oh no. I'm just saying because you know you're my boy, and I can't be like like I have.
I feel like I can speak for all fathers.
For all fathers,
when it comes down to the court mandated or versus not being able to see your child at all, let's deal with the courts, and that's ultimately what it comes down to.
And then my perspective is just more like I'd rather skip the courts and just handle it myself and manage that time to where I can be with. I want to be with my daughter, and I have nothing against Amelia's mom. So I'm just like, I want to spend time with you too. Like I want to actually break it down and actually, spend time as a family. And I know like that's what everybody's trying to shoot for. I mean, for the most part, at least. I mean, I would like
not
everybody's shooting for that. But if you are shooting for that, I would like to say that, that's what I want. I would want to have it to where like Amelia knows who her dad is and knows who her mom is, and they're both working well together, and that's just the overall goal. And I know I'm going off into a tangent, but seriously though, like I want to like spend time with both of you and be happy. That's essentially it. So it's just,
I mean, it's a good aspect to bring into the conversation when we're talking about time management. Since we have to speak from different situations. So yes, mine, not necessarily something I wanted to dwell into, but for people who do have that availability and there is that openness between the relationship and you want to spend time with your child's mother just to make sure y'all are cohesive on things and y'all can co-parent. So sometimes y'all do need to spend that time together to make sure y'all on one accord.
Right.
You have to manage your time with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to make a decision if you want to do that with your child involved or you're going to do it outside of your child's time.
Yeah.
But it is something that's going to take planning in order for you to be successful at. But I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, if people have like I said, if you have the willingness and the openness in your heart to say, hey, I know we're not ultimately together, but for the greater good of our child, let's spend some time together. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. Hit up a movie or something, or
I don't know about that. Sounds a little too intimate. We can do a lunch.
A lunch? Across the room or something?
Yeah, across the table. In public.
in public, exclusively just yours.
I gotta speak from the hostile side.
Oh yeah,
Life
right.
ain't sweet.
I know life ain't all that sweet, but on my part, it's definitely sweet. But anyway, so.
But I mean, I like that you brought that up because that does alleviate or bring opportunity for better time management when it comes down to different situations like children's birthdays.
Yeah, because I'm glad you brought birthdays because Amelia's mom, bless her, because she is always on my case about everything. Like she's like, Zach, you have this thing going on, or Zach, did you do this? Zach, did you do that? I'm like, yes, I did. You ain't got to check. I'm just like, look, lady, like I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm a grown man. I can do this. It's like, okay, go on with your grown man self. Go ahead and handle it yourself. I'll leave you alone. I'm like, no, don't do that to me. Come on now. Like,
I mean, y'all in the whole relationship.
I know, but still though, I'm just saying from my perspective, I'm like, look, even when I fall short on a couple things, like she does remind me that I need to get this done. I'm like, all right, I'll get it done. Just leave me alone. So I got this, so the overall arc of that whole thing of just having that, like, management can be a little bit easier when you have a second, two heads are better than one. So,
okay, yeah.
So, usually I would I'll come back to like, hey, let's, we got this thing going on. You still down for it? Or, what's going on? Like, we could just manage how we're going to do this day together. Heck, we can even go Dutch if we want to. I don't know. Like, it's just, it's actually a lot easier if you have a second person is really what I'm just trying to say about that. But
two people working for the greater good of the child. Essentially is what parenting should be.
What should be, yeah. But there are most cases where for birthdays, for instance, let's go back to that. When we have birthdays, from my perspective, it's like me and Amelia's mom, we would sit down and be like, all right, when is this birthday going to take place? Okay, cool. On this weekend. All right, where are we going to have it at? Okay, cool. Now, who's all going to be invited? Because that's another situation we got to deal with. Which family members are we going to bring in? Who's going to be there? Who's not going to be there? What do they have to bring? That kind of stuff. Should it be like an event where it's at like a venue, or is it like an event that's like homegrown, like a house party kind of thing? It's all up to you. So we have to coordinate that and spend some time to actually plan that whole thing out. Yeah, she can multitask, but for me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna focus on this one task and we're gonna get this done. So for you, it's probably just like a different situation. Like, how would you handle that?
I mean, yeah, for most people in my situation, birthdays are either obsolete. Like, hey, I don't have the child on the birthday this year, so happy birthday,
happy birthday. But whenever it does swing in your favor, how do you usually plan this whole thing out? Altogether.
So the alternatives there's multiple ways. Essentially, like sometimes you don't have the child on birthday at all, so it's kind of like, hey, just a happy birthday. I do what I can from afar. You can, if your child's mother is as cordial as they can be for birthdays, understand that's the time that y'all can come together. Then it runs into more of a situation like yours. We can actually talk about, all right, let's plan this thing out together.
Yeah.
But I feel like the most common one is, all right, we're doing separate birthdays.
Yeah.
So
which is cool on the child's part, because that's like
to a certain degree. I mean, when they're younger, yes, it's fine. But I mean, it does.
When they gets older, like, why can't
I've heard
mom and
plenty
dad?
of stories from some of my friends who've grown up in those situations. Like, all right, like I would have one birthday with my mom and then another birthday with my dad. It automatically brings a comparison between the two. So now instead of having
whose birthday is better,
whose birthday is better. So it's now, instead of having like a uniform, like, all right, it's my birthday and I just want to feel appreciated. Oh, here I'm feeling appreciated with my mom, but my dad can't come to the side. Yeah. Or I'm with my dad and like my mom, I can't even play with the things that my mom gave me because she won't let me take it out the house. So
and you put in all that work and effort, and you're just trying to like give her or them like the best party they can with the budget that you set forth for them, and I know, it's not always going to be the best, but I don't like pit. See, that's the thing. I was like, I don't like it whenever the child has to choose between two people, like who's better and who's, like, oh, dad looked like he put in more, like less time than mom did, and and so therefore, like, mom wins on this whole case of, but
it's a cold world.
It's
but
a cold world out there,
that's how
but
it goes.
yeah, but I'm just, but at least from my perspective as a father, it's like, hey, I put in the time and effort to actually make this happen for you. And granted, yes, we have this court mandated thing that's taking place, but I'm trying my best to actually give you what you want, So this is just from a father who's actually involved all the time. Now, fathers who just like don't do diddly squat, like for instance, like my goddaughter, her biological father did not show up to all of her birthdays except for one. Or maybe no, anyways, but he did not show up. I'm like, dude, like, and then I have to be like that father figure to her where, hey babe, I know I didn't plan this, but happy birthday, hugs and kisses, and and then we move on with our lives. But I just feel bad because I'm like, so
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do because, I mean, it's our protocol as fathers to kind of just step in there and do our thing. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, to kind of bring everything full circle and wrap this up, we did talk about a lot of good ways that we went through time management and just different things that we went through with our kids of how we manage those specific instances. But ultimately, when it comes down to time management, I believe this is kind of an open call and a great opportunity for fathers who are listening, or just fathers who feel like who need to listen to this.
Or just men in general who are about to be fathers. Yeah.
It's an opportunity just to showcase that, like we said, 24 hours a day. If you have a child, how this gives you opportunity to put some type of influence or time within your child's life. Mm-hmm. So for those fathers who feel like, all right, I know I have a kid out there, or because of a certain situation, like I don't spend enough time with my kid. Like, this should be a little bit eye opening. Just the fact that like other people are out here doing this, and there is room for you to grow into it.
Exactly.
It's about making a decision at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So hopefully this does inspire somebody to say, hey, let me at least just reach out. We talked about a lot of like in-person, face-to-face time, but like for situations that are kind of worse off than we even imagined or we spoke about, sometimes it's just a phone call.
Yeah.
If they're older, maybe it's even social media at this age.
We got Skype. Like you can Skype each other and just, have that conversation. I mean, I know that like even for me, like in the past, like even when I was living 2 hours away from my daughter, I would still take that time to actually, Skype in and try to at least let her see my face.
Yeah.
So she would know like, oh, this is daddy. Like this is who he is. So, but anyways, proceed on with
No, that's what it is. Like just minimal effort is not something I want to promote, but it has to start from somewhere.
You gotta give it something. Yeah.
By fathers not displaying any type of minimal effort, that means you're not managing your time. Mm-hmm. So even as a man, like I'm challenging on that, just to manage your time effectively. Yes, you might have a terrible situation. I, for one, can speak on that, like a situation where I manage my time and things aren't really working out. But when the time does become available, if you don't have your plans in order and you're not on some type of structure, then that time can be squandered easily.
Yep. And you look like Boo Boo the Fool. Like my dad doesn't know what he's doing. Like he's but I definitely agree with you on that, man. Don't waste any time. Stop
time
procrastinating.
Is something you never get back.
Yeah, time waits for no man, and so why waste it?
Or
woman. Well, see, now you gotta.
I gotta show some balance.
Okay, time waits for no man or woman. Okay, and stay dedicated, guys. Please, would appreciate it. I'm just messing. But anyway, so overall, like just to kind of like going back to what you're saying, overall, like stop procrastinating, quit procrastinating, get your life together. If you have time, like if there's something that you truly care about, whether if it's your daughter or if it's your significant other,
daughter, son, kids,
family members, whoever, like hell, even like work, like or whatever, like you will make that time. You have to make that time for like, I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm saying if you truly care about that one specific thing, you will make time for that.
Yeah, you make time for what you care for.
Exactly. So might as well just make it count by managing time wisely and planning out your days. Just make it all happen. So the best. So sorry.
Wow.
I just.
We're gonna manage our time effectively and wrap this up.
Yeah.
So, for everyone, this is our episode on time management. Please continue to support us in everything that we do. We appreciate all the support that we've gathered so far.
YOLO.
Follow us on all our social mediums. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Continue listening on Spotify, SoundCloud.
For those of you
YouTube.
for those of you on YouTube, hey, we'd really appreciate it if you can just take the time to push that button at the bottom and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we want to increase our YouTube presence.
Yes.
Tag some people, share your thoughts, comments. We appreciate all of that. You want to send an email at staydadicated@gmail.com.
Let us know, guys.
Anything and everything.
Yeah. Feel free to put a comment below if you have anything to say about our stuff. Just, hey, we're here to listen. Dead serious. We love your feedback.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
until next time, stay dedicated.